Don't you just love investigating? So I am trying to figure out the best method for me to do indoor sifting. And I've tried a few methods. This is the one that's working the best so far. This is, this looks like 1/4 inch screen. That's where I put my first initial overs. I like this second 1/8 inch under here. And it'll take a few, let me run a few sifts through here to show you exactly how well I'm seeing this work. Now, I switched to this shorter bucket because I'm running 3 sifts here, which makes things kind of tall. I'm wondering, my investigation here today just is for, buckle up, you're here on the mothership. We're getting ready for our journey to the microcosmos, which is really underground instead of in outer space. But obviously taking off in a spaceship is going to create a little bit of turbulence. So, rest assured, all my passengers and crew, we are going to be safe here on the mothership while we do our investigating. And I can hold this up, but this is what caused me to not quite like this sifter to begin with. And I have made some adjustments and my next batch of sift here. So now you can see we got quite a bit of this screening material that is basically, let's see, I'm already seeing this. I think there's about a 4-inch rise difference between this short bucket and a regular taller bucket. So I'm taking that information in, tabulating and calculating. I needed another backup in for the, no, I don't. Okay, I'll show you how this system is going. These now that won't fit through that 1/8 screen has cocoons in there. And these are the larger substrates. So, I hate that I use that so much, but I'm watching videos and other people do it too. These are going to be my overs for my nursery bin. It goes over into another backup bin right here. And I just tap it there. Done. This is the large overs that go back into the breeder bin. So I had 2 overs. This is the overs for the breeder bin. This is the overs for the nursery. Now, we're down to the 1/12 inch screen. So, let me just take a second and show you what came in the mail yesterday, which has got me even more excited about what I should do. So I want you guys to give me ideas on what you think about this monster. 2 by 4 feet of 1/12 inch screen. And I set it over top of a huge Menards bin yesterday. They are about the 2 by 4 foot size. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be great to have a monster tabletop sifter? I'm putting this back. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Woohoo! In a flash. Just like the light at speed of light. So if I have that on the back of this tabletop, I'm going to have the wonderful maintenance guy build me something that's like dresser drawer almost. I want those drawer sliding wheels and build a frame around that 2 by 4 1/12 sheet of sifting screen. And then I could practically put a whole bin maybe in there if I make it deep enough and then go back and forth. I'm not sure what I like best yet. Or do I sabotage that screen and go ahead and put it in the Megalodon sifter that I have outside, which I feel like is not probably the greatest, especially during the winter because the worms are going to get freezing cold out there and condensation on the metal isn't great. Anyway, this is the 1/12 screen in the bottom here. I'm seeing more cocoons and more castings. But what this screen allows me to do when I put it in here after those larger, one, We can retain back our larger cocoons for breeding stock if we want to see if we can promote genetics for larger worms. And then this can be a secondary nursery where we get out of the breeding system for, you know, mega worms that we're all going to haul down to the fairgrounds and stick out on a table for show and get blue ribbons on our mega worms. We can do that. That's how we would select for those larger cocoons to possibly gain those larger genetics back, retain those back, get rid of these. These are going to go out into our amendments. But what I found, the big reason I wanted this screen for was that it will sift out smaller castings from cocoons. And so I could retain back more castings by running it through this screen again. Also, sometimes when your bin's a little too wet, those smaller castings just won't come out. So what I did, went ahead and took these wetter castings, put them in a backup bin for about 3 days of just turning. And as long as they're not on a heat mat, seemed like those cocoons didn't really hatch out too fast. Especially if you keep your breeder bin on that 14-day rotating cycle with a substrate. You can probably get a good 3 days before they'll really all start wildly hatching, because not all of them were probably laid on day one anyway. Blah, blah, blah. So now if these are wet, I can dry them down longer. They're not in the overs bin for the nursery. And the larger cocoons are already safe and sound in the nursery, ready for the judging system to go to the state fair. And these castings and smaller cocoons are going to dry down some more. Oh, it's getting to be a lot of shelf storage though. I now have a bona fide nursery, and it is actually in the finished side of the basement because it's warmer over there now that we've shut down the furnaces, and it's too cool over here. I feel like it's going to take up more space because it's going to cause those cocoons to need more time to hatch. So I want to get them hatched out, get that substrate moved on, and get my bin back because I don't have room to store a bunch of nurseries at this point. And I'm still investigating this whole worm farming process. So now these go into a separate backup bin, which I'm going to say I really don't need at this point. I think we got most of the castings out of there. This is a really good dry substrate. I'm not breeding to head to the state fair yet, so I'm not going to worry about retaining those larger cocoons and separating out the smaller cocoons at this moment in time. But look at how much sifted out of there. Holy moly, where did I get all that already? I haven't even used this. I don't know. So then you just put them all back together and away you go again. This top sifting stuff is a lot drier. Let's go with trying, since we sifted that group out already. What I want to tell you is a ticket to this also is this little foam mat. About a 2-inch piece of foam. Get it at the craft store, whatever. I can link some sort of Amazon link. I'm not affiliated, so I can't get any credit for showing y'all that. I'm going to get this regular old yellow-orange bucket where I started all this sifting off with. Let's see how ergonomically the feel is on this bucket that's a little bit taller. So do you see the difference? I guess there's about a 3-inch size difference in the height. So if we're going to roll this around in a cone shape, obviously the taller would create a bigger circle on the top. Got to pull in some physics and some of my geometry there. Okay, so I hold down low and I put my thumbs on these edges to grip these to make sure they don't go flying out. And now you can see we've got a good circular motion. I almost might like the bigger bucket better. Well, okay. So I'm learning new things every day. That investigation, I could probably be okay with both. So I'm just going ahead and probably doing 3 or 4 sifts in this substrate to get the second one full enough. Now, this whole time that I'm working this thing, you guys all know the other two sifters are still sifting. So we're still sifting stuff out to the bottom. It's just the top is got the largest debris that we need to get off. And then we go back and forth, left and right, and round and round. I need to stop doing it on the table so y'all don't feel like we're still heading to space. I'll do one more sift and then we'll see how this all turns out. This is super dry substrate, which is why I want to get into these worms. I'm extremely far behind. So I can pick this up, but like I said, this was killing my back, holding this up like this. So putting the weight down on the table works good. And then holding it about elbow width here and using that circular motion, and you can switch directions to really get the substrate kicked around. Ta-da! Now we're on the second here, which I think probably needs a little more sifting. Just kind of give it a good eyeball. Just to really kick them around. Get the stuff from the top, getting down to the bottom. Okay, that looks good enough. That these overs are for the nursery. They're perfect size for the little nursery bees. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? Okay, so also on these, you gotta go like this because the castings get stuck on this bottom ridge there. So I learned all this. Woohoo! And I can get through a bin in 15 minutes. I've never had one of these come flying off, but like I said, I hold it down with my thumbs. I get pretty wild. I cannot believe how many castings I have gotten so far. This is amazing, and it's just driving me to keep doing more and more and more, get more and more efficient. And I can't wait to see the results. I've got one cover crop field out right now, starting to green up. We got rain last night, so I can't wait to see that pop. It's already starting to turn green with that warm weather. I'm gonna take a yard seeder. You seed your yard with fertilizers or whatever, and I'm gonna put these castings in it, and I'm just gonna make really long strips in that cover crop just to see that everybody show what these castings can do. So we've got both the cocoons. I see a lot of small cocoons in here. Big castings too though. So what do you do when you got castings that are big enough that they don't want to fall through? We've got to get the cocoons out, and then we can sell those as larger castings. So now you can see so far on that is how much of our final product we got. That's castings ready for sale. Super fine. No cocoons in there with the 112 screening. What I'm finding. So that's it, you guys. Give me some ideas about what to do. Am I going to be happy with the tabletop sifter that I go back and forth with that 112 screen? Or do I go ahead and cut that screen up, put it in the big megalodon outside, really sift through some castings, especially because I've got those growers that I have to sift all that casting. Well, I don't have to if I'm going to just use it for amendments, but I mean in the future, if I ever decide to sell any castings, because I just got so many, because I'm so addicted now to producing these things. Oh, they're like so smooth. That I'm going to have to get through a lot of substrate in a short amount of time. So, oh boy, yesterday I got a whole wheelbarrow load. There's a video, I'll maybe link it here. I haven't even got it uploaded yet, so I'll try to keep everything connected that is relevant to this video. And so what we're gonna do, I went to the wood chip pile that had been broken down for centuries, and it is just it's almost like it is all castings. I ran it through Megalodon, and it sifted so beautifully. I have 3 products that are just fabulous. So I'll get that video up to you as soon as I can. Today. But I don't know if I will schedule that one out or not. I'll schedule this one out so you can see how awesome Megalodon did as a soil sifter. So, it can handle both. And I am assured that even next, if I needed to sift some seeds, like what I do is I get my green beans and at the end of the year, I let those dry down. And then I crush them stalks up and run it through that, and it really helps get rid of the debris. But we took the fans off because the fans was blowing the casting, so I guess we kind of destroyed that feature. That's it for this video. Give me a thumbs up if you're hanging out with me today, and make yourself a permanent fixture here at the Carbon Flip. See if we pass or fail the mission of converting from a conventional farm using synthetic fertilizers to an all-natural form of amendments that are eco-friendly and will be able to produce nutrient-rich food. I hope to see you all in the future.